For the 2023 ICCR at Mondello Park, the Digital Motorsports Supported Championship is back. It's bigger and it's better. This is the biggest racing meeting at Mondello Park since 2006. Over 200 entries here at Mondello Park this weekend. We had fantastic racing yesterday as the Patch Tire Equipment Mini Juniors Championship beginning to really take off. Young Ruben Kernahan did an incredible job and was challenged very hard in that one. We've got some really good young drivers coming up. Today we've got the Zetecs Safety Fiestas, the Coffee to Go STs. We've got we had Formula Shanes yesterday. We've got Legends behind us ready to go, Boss Ireland, Future Classics, and much more. So lots of action coming your way on the live stream today. We're almost ready to go. It rained overnight, which we hadn't forecast and hadn't expected, so qualifying was very tricky for some of the classes, and a lot of them have changed tyres over the winter to different brands, including the Fiesta STs, Fiesta Zetecs, and indeed the Seat Supercups will be out later on. A lot of new cars at Seat Supercup this year. They're in Hankook tyres, which they're saying are taking a long time to warm up, but working well once they're warmed up. So they struggle a little bit in drying conditions earlier on, but it's looking pretty good. I'm afraid to say it. It doesn't look like it's going to rain again. I'm sure I'll regret saying those words later on at Mondello Park, but certainly the track is pretty dry now, and the legends, the Irish legends, are about to go out. Great grid of them, and as ever, they're superbly presented. So they'll be on track here at Mondello Park in just a few minutes' time. So that's the BMW Ireland safety car. Will lead the Legends round, of course, because the Irish Legends are rolling start as ever. So we're back with the Beacon Hospital, as you can see in the top right of the screen. We wouldn't be live streaming if it wasn't for them, so we're very thankful to them for their support. And everybody going for their men's health check in the Beacon, as we all have done recently. It's a great thing to do. You'll see the ads for that later on. So Beacon Hospital coming to support Mondello Park and the ICCR. As I said, a massive race meeting at Mondello Park. Since the ICCR kicked off 3 years ago, it's turned around motor racing, which was in a bit of bother in Mondello Park. The numbers were dwindling both on the grids and in the grandstand. Numbers are up in almost every class. Formula V yesterday gave us an incredible race in the Selco Formula Vs. Really close stuff. And they've got a massive, they filled the grid, so they were looking for, they would have had reserves so they had any more entries yesterday. The same with the Zetecs Safety Zetec Fiestas, like about almost 40 of those cars. I think there's 40 registered. They're coming back out. Fiesta STs, a little bit thin on the ground because we have a few drivers away, but actually 19 or 20 cars registered for that championship, which is a big move up for them. Legends, as you can see on screen, plenty of those. There's the BMW Ireland safety car, Declan Nolan leading them away. Then the first one, the Pink Panther, is the first car out. Derek. The rest of them coming through some new liveries for this year. Great to see. Derek Hogan will lead them out. Peter Barrable there in the Daedalow orange car, very much a danger man. Down into what's going to become Beacon Hospital Corner. Beacon Corner now turn 1 at Mondello Park. Then through Campion Corner, named after the late great John Campion, turn 2. Out to turn 3. And then that's Derek Hogan already almost out of turn 3. Derek Hogan absolutely loves his racing, was racing for a bit of fun and then found some real pace towards the middle and end of last year and was able to run with the front runners, so he's really having fun doing this. He's got David Yamamoto alongside him. David was massively experienced in karting along with his dad and did a bit of Zetec Fiesta racing before moving over to the Legends. Then Richard Spence and Owen Lawler, another ex-Fiat racer. Another ex-Fiat racer is Ian Conroy. Then 88, Peter Barrable, very much a danger man. He's a lap record holder in this class. He's very hard to beat, hugely experienced from the north side dynasty, the Barrable family. Then it's Anthony Malone and Declan Burke. Then Seamus Ryan and Scott Jackson, Lee Malone, Kieran Bergen, Jonathan Files. Late entry, of course, from Jonathan Files, and late for qualifying this morning, but watch out for him. Not sure how well sorted that car is, but he is as quick as anybody in the paddock. The clue is in the surname. Then it's Willie Lawrence, and then it's Sylvie Bartlett, who's bought a Fiesta ST as well. He's an ex-V racer and having a go in these Legends. So they're coming up towards Southside Motor Factors corner, the last corner. They're all in grid formation. 1200cc motorbike engine. Don't have a whole lot of grip. They're engineered that way on purpose. They've got treaded tyres, so they're a little bit of a handful to drive. There's a dark art to driving them, but the drivers that race them absolutely love them. Getting ready to go. Hogan leads them. We look at Barrable on the outside. I did say he was a danger man. Peter Barrable down the outside. He's hardly going to go for the lead. Yamamoto doesn't leave him a whole lot of room, but he gets alongside on the brakes. Barrable already up to third place as Derek Hogan leads the pack through Beacon Corner. Back over to the right to get the best line possible through Campion Corner now, turn 2. And away they go down towards turn 3. Great stuff from the Irish Legends Cars Championship. That's Ian Conroy there, this distinctive silver car looking to make a move. He's in 5th place. And looking for 4th. Is he going to get down the inside? No, around goes Derek Hogan, and Peter Barrable has to go off in avoidance. And that's Sylvie Bartlett off too, and Barrable rejoining last. Now that's bad for Peter Barrable, but that's good for us because it's going to give us a lot of entertainment. And down into 2nd place, down the inside, into the S's, is Ian Conroy. So it's all action. Owen Lawler in the beautiful Mace livery car. Some lovely jobs done by Rapco and some of the others there, but here they come up to complete lap 1, and it is Yamamoto leading. It's Lawler second. That's Richard Spence next up in a slightly different bodied car. There's 2 different body styles available in these. They come back towards us now, and here's the sound effects we were talking about as they scream by the start-finish line. There's Peter Barrable. The Daedlow yellow car is the one we got to watch here. He's way back. Jonathan Files is up to 10th. Peter Barrable in 12th place now as they come down into turn 1. That's Files in the orange and white car just going through shot now. 2 places behind him is Barrable, and right behind Barrable is the early leader Derek Hogan. So heading out towards turn 3 now, almost like a van, these 2 cars with the longer bodywork at the back, same chassis of course, same technical spec, but you can run a coupe or a saloon bodyworks there as they're called. As the lead change, they're out of our shot. It looks like Conroy has taken the lead. He has. Yamamoto fights back as they come down into the S's. So the capture went up a little bit too quick. These cars change places with a lot. Huge regularity. Spence goes around right in front of us here. The red car, quick spin, and Files off in avoidance on the outside. Barrable just missing him as well. So the track's still a little bit wet, obviously. In fact, they're out in the 11s. The lap times. Oh, that was a standing. Well, they don't do standing start, but that was their first lap. Let's see what times they do when they go by this time. Might give us an indication of how dry it is. A 6.2 for Conroy, so it's pretty dry. But obviously with the cars rotating, it still is a little bit slippery out there. Barrable has got by Files, I think, out there. Indeed he has. It's Peter Barrable with 12.3. Nowhere near the times of the leaders yet. A lot of work to do if Barrable's going to have any result in this one. Just 5 minutes to run. 5 minutes 17 seconds now. Spence retires into the pits. 46 having a big run round the outside. That's Declan Burke. Looking down the outside and then back to the inside. Good move by Declan Burke, and left the door open there. There's a one-liner there somewhere, isn't there? Owen Lawler left the door wide open, literally, because the door of his car is swinging open there through the right-hander as they come back down towards the S's and turn into that off-camber left-hand corner. But a great job by Conroy out front. Let's see if Barrable's made any inroads. He has. We're looking at Barrable now coming out of the S's. The top of your screen. Watch the top of your screen. There he is, the bright yellow car in that group. He really has to get through them here. Barrable will be thinking about championships, never mind wins. Has a look down the inside of 5. Doesn't make it on that occasion. That's Sylvie Bartlett going good and late on the brakes, not handing it away. But Barrable gets by him on the exit and lines up his next victim now on the main straight. 77, Willie Lawrence, gets a good run and gets alongside him, but he's on the outside. He's going to have to do the job on the brakes down into Beacon Corner, and that's exactly what he does. Laid on the brakes, Barrable, and takes almost another place. He's got by one of them. Has he got that other car? He hasn't quite. That's Lee Malone, I think, a little bit more experienced. So that puts Barrable up to 10th place. Lap time is 107.497, not comparing with the leaders. 106.665 for Ian Conroy, who is making good his getaway out front. They're all scrabbling for grip just a little bit there. Barrable not showing as much speed as I expected here. We can expect him to get rid of these cars in front, but he really needs to get the lap times down to at least what the leader's doing. He's down another place there, nicely done, just slicing down the inside into the S's. There's Yamamoto. There's Burke, who's going really well. And it's Conroy with the door open. Or Lawler, I should say, not Conroy. There's Barrable another place up. So Barrable definitely the man on the move as he comes out onto the main straight. In the automatic cars.ie, a Michael Barrable Motors car. That's him up to 7th place now, and he's done a 7.497, which is as quick as anybody bar the leader. The leader's in a 6.2 for his best, but a 7.2 that time round, so 2/10 off the leader lap for lap there, Barrable, and now he's got a clear track in front. I think we'll probably see a new fastest lap from Michael Barrable. Jonathan Files struggling a little bit. I'd imagine there's a problem with that car because it won't be the driver. Jonathan well able to steer, as we know here at Mondello Park. Here's Burke just getting a little bit of understeer and converting it to oversteer with use of the right pedal there, just standing on the power, big drift up out of turn 3. Here comes Barrable again, still the car moving around quite a lot under him. 7.497 his best. He should better that this time round, I feel. I don't think he's definitely not going to catch Conroy now. He's already up in the final corner. It's Yamamoto. Conroy's already gone through. There's Burke. Then it's Owen Lawler, Seamus Ryan, Anthony Malone, and then Barrable, who's closing them up. 6.8 for the leader that time round. Surely Barrable will be looking to dip into the 6s. This is a good battle ahead of him though. He's got to tackle all those guys. Oh, Barrable's slower that lap. In fact, they're all gone a 108 for Barrable. All gone a bit slower. There's no rain down. I'm not sure what would be causing that, but the leader did a 6.8, but the rest of them all out to the 8s and 9s. So a very slow lap there, whatever's happened. That's the fastest lap you're seeing on the left of your screen there. It's not the time they've just done, so that's the fastest lap, so it'll give you some indication of their outright pace. As Barrable closes down on this 3-car battle for 4th place. So let's see, 1 minute 30 to run. We're coming towards the closing stages of this one, and Conroy looking very strong out front. There he is. Puff of smoke as he turns into his outside Motor Factor's corner. And Yamamoto, there's the leader. Probably get another lap after this one, I think. 1 minute 18 seconds to go. Times to come back down. 7.1 for Barrable, so he's matched the leader for the first time round. He's quicker than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars in front, but we are in the closing stages very much of this race, so I'm sure Barrable can get up to them, but I wonder can he improve from that 7th place. He's trying it now down at turn 3. We can see him side by side with one of those 3 cars as they go out of our view at turn 3. There it is. He's got up the inside of maybe 1, maybe 2. Tidy line for Barrable, gets him side by side now as they come back towards us. He's on the outside though for the S's. Can he get around the outside? It's hard to do in one of these Legends. They don't have too much grip. Treaded tires, he's got one of them. Barrable, he's gone wide though. The Mace car coming back at him, and he manages to carry that one. No checker flag. This time 9 seconds to go, so there will be one more lap for a race leader. So that has Barrable up to 6th, I think, by my reckoning. So it's Ian Conroy, David Yamamoto, Declan Burke, Seamus Ryan, Anthony Malone and Barrable in 6th. Lawler it is who's down to 7th now, with the door swinging open there. And the Mace car, beautifully turned out machine. Then it's Lee Malone, Willie Lawrence, Jonathan Files, who's managed to squeeze a 107 out of his car, 7.8. There he is leading that squabbling pack. Derek Hogan in there too, still recovering from that early spin. He's our pole man. 4 is Seamus Ryan. There's a puff of smoke there as he gets on the brakes. Behind him is Anthony Malone, who's under pressure from Barrable. And Barrable gets a great run on him coming back towards us now. On the final lap, he's looking to get down the inside. I think he's going to get the job done. He's side by side, he's later on the brakes and gets down the inside. Nice job by Peter Barrable. Checkered flag though below us is ready. And it looks like it's going to be Conroy. Here's our winner, first winner of the day, live stream from Beacon Hospital. Ian Conroy takes a fine win in Irish Legends by a long way. Unusual to have these gaps. And next up is David Yamamoto, great run. And a good drive by Declan Burke. And it's Seamus Ryan. And then it's Peter Barrable who climbs to 5th on the last lap. So good recovery. Gets into the 6s, a 6.393 for Barrable, but that's a 10th off the fastest lap. Taken by the winner, Ian Conroy. So great stuff from Irish Legends. Jonathan Files coming down as well. I'm sure he'll be working hard on that car when he gets back to the pits. That was a slow lap again, 118, so he lost 10 seconds. 10 seconds, somewhere out there, so they're just running around the track now, cooling themselves down. 1 minute 30 to So plenty of action here at Mondello Park today, so stay tuned in, plump up your pillows. If you're listening to this in the paddock and not watching it, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on the ICCR social media outlets, so very easy to tune in and watch this coverage. So there's your top 10. Ian Conroy takes the win from David Yamamoto, Declan Burke, they're fastest laps, sorry, Seamus Ryan, Peter Barrable, Anthony Malone, Owen Lawler, Lee Malone, Willie Lawrence and Derek Hogan. So Irish Legends first race of the day, then we're going to have the Dunshaughlin Motor Company Formula Boss Ireland Championship qualifying will be next up. I'm not sure if we're covering that one, we'll find out. Then Coffee to Go Fiesta ST Championship, young Max Turley on pole position for that one. The Precision Graphics Future Classic Championships, some new cars out, and that should give us great excitement. And then the one a lot of people are talking about, the Say It Supercup Ireland Championship, that is has got a lot of new cars, a lot of new drivers. They look absolutely fantastic, they sound absolutely fantastic, and Sam Mansfield has taken pole position for that one. Then Precision Graphics Irish Touring Car Championship, Owen Dowd will start on pole for that one in the golf. And then Siltec Safety Fiesta Zetecs Championship, and on the last lap of qualifying, Northern Ireland visitor Derek Graham snatched pole position. He just took it away from Keith Dawson, and he was almost slipstreaming Keith Dawson on the last lap of qualifying. So great to have Derek Graham back at Mondello Park, and he returns to Mondello Park with pole position in the biggest race of the weekend. Then we'll have Boss Ireland on track, Legends again, and then they'll all get their second race. So a packed afternoon of entertainment at Mondello Park with the Digital Motorsports ICCR, with thanks to Beacon Hospital. So Boss Ireland cars heading out. These are the fastest cars here this weekend. As close to F1 as you'll get in Ireland. Some really quick cars. We usually have some F1 engine cars, but you'll see a lot of, see the stickers, that means they're running brand new rubber, new tyres. Still have the stickers on. Playing mind games. You could peel the stickers off if you wanted, but it's nice to show your rivals that you've got new tyres for qualifying. But these cars broke the outright lap record. They've gone round Mondello Park incredibly in 49 seconds. Cian Carey is the outright lap record holder. It's a little bit wet, so they're not going to do that today, but they reckon they can go quicker again. The modern F3 cars, you see two of them there just slicing by one of the smaller cars. So Paul O'Connell, Cian Carey, these guys, really quick drivers and really quick cars, putting a lot of work into running them. The three Rabbit brothers are out, Barry Rabbit, Shane Rabbit and Keith Rabbit, and these Rapco cars beautifully presented, and it's always good to watch. Not a massive entry in Boss, but a lot of cars still have to be got ready, and a few other cars will be coming out in the following rounds. There are 10 cars showing. There's a few more to come. There are indeed. We'll see how many end up out on track. There's a few more. There's another one coming out. I think that's Shane Rabbit. It is indeed in the pit lane now. There he is. Great sound from that car. It looks almost like the Braun Formula 1 car colour scheme. So we'll let them run for a couple of minutes and then we'll update you on the lap times. Remember to tune in. We're not on the app. We're not on the Speed Hive timing app anymore at Mondello Park. All the timing information is now available on timing.ie direct, and it's been upgraded greatly for this year. So the timing system, when you go onto it, will look like what you've seen from the British GT Championship and the British Touring Car Championship. You've got way more information than you had before. You've got obviously best lap, last lap, and you've got sectors, and they'll go purple if somebody goes quickest in that sector. But now we've got a speed trap on the main straight. It's only about halfway down the main straight, but it gives indication of how strong your engine is, if you're in a one-make class, or who's got the quickest car in a straight line in a class like this. And that's all available. Also, there's tracking, there's weather, there's loads more information. So if you're an absolute complete another motor racing nerd like me, you'll enjoy going up and down. So you need two screens at home. You need to put the dog outside and get two screens, one for your timing and one for the live stream. And it'll be like being in race control from your own couch. So there you go, Boss Ireland, the Dunshaughlin Motor Company, DMC.ie, Barry John McHenry's Dunshaughlin-based car sales dealership. sponsoring Boss Ireland this year. Barry John, well known to us at Mondello Park. He's raced here in many different classes in saloons and now races in the UK in the ST240 Fiesta Turbo Championship. So great to see him putting something back into the sport. So they're really just warming up the tyres now. Times being set will not be representative. They will go a lot quicker than this. But at the moment it's Tony Greenan from Michael Roach, Paul O'Connell, Dan Daly, Cian Carey and Rob King. So the times are beginning to tumble already. We were wondering, is the track wet? Well, it obviously isn't, because Tony Greenan sits on provisional pole with a time of 50.935. That's really, really quick stuff. Cian Carey's just put in his first quick lap. It's 52.398. We know he's capable of going way quicker than that. Rob King going through there in the Radical. There's Cian Carey going through with a 51.4, 2 seconds quicker almost than he went, so he's starting to get up to speed. Paul O'Connell goes through, 53.399 for Paul O'Connell. Shane Rabbit 54.5 in the Formula Renault. Somebody slowing, stopping on the exit at turn 3. That's Keith Rabbit, and it's Gary Graham. Not a great place to park, but it's just ground to a halt right in the firing line on the exit of turn 3. I think that'll probably give us a safety car, because it really is right where the cars want to be on the way out of that corner. Well, nothing yet. It's still Greenan, Carey, Roach, O'Connell, Shane Rabbit, Dan Daly, Rob King, Colm Hines and Gary Graham, and Keith Rabbit rounding out the top 10, but that's certainly slowing them all down. Looks like he's going to get out of the car. Wave yellow. Red flags are out. The red flags are out. Pit crews are all running back across to the pit garages. You can see a lot of action there at the top of your screen on the pit lane. I wonder are some of them on, well, they're hardly on wets in this weather, but certainly the pit crews are looking to make some changes as they come back towards us. There's the Mondello Park recovery unit. It has a lot of miles on it since yesterday. It was used a lot yesterday. Really good, really well trained guys in those, and they get to the scene of any incident really quickly. They'll pull that car back in. Gary Graham probably needs to head back over to his car because they're coming down, but the protocol would be for the driver to get up on the bank and get away if the action keeps going. But there's a red flag, so Gary knows this. He'll stay where he is until the car comes back. They'll put a rope on that car and pull him back in, but they'll be there. There they are, almost there already. rescue crew heading out beyond turn 3. It's the Hill of Allen you can see in the background. It's when you can't see the Hill of Allen, you know there's bad weather coming here at Mondello Park. So there we go. There's JR, John Rock. He's worked at Mondello for many, many years. An absolute master at recovering cars. He can go right into the gravel trap in that machine and get cars out if he has to. So Barry Swan with him, both highly experienced, and have been doing this at Mondello for many, many years. They'll get that car hooked up and tow it back in pretty quickly, and then we'll be ready to go again. And in fact, the rest of the Boss cars are lining up in the pit lane. Boss Ireland stands for big, open, single-seaters, because there are no regulations really. You can run pretty much anything you want in this class. Cian Carey knows exactly how this works, and he's going to the end of the pit lane. He wants to get out on track first when it restarts. Cian massively experienced, so if we get a shot of the pit lane, you'll see that. He's gone to the end of the pit lane already. The rest of them are all back on the apron. That's Dan Daly, but he's out of our shot down lower is Cian Carey, and he's already there. He wants to get out quickly. He knows there's only there's 8 minutes to go in this one, and he is keen to get out there, get some heat into the tyres. Teleporter being sent out, so maybe there's a bigger problem with that car and it needs a lift. Maybe some suspension damage or something, because otherwise they'd be back here with the car, and they're not just yet. So that's going to hold us for a few minutes as the Boss cars all get ready down in pit lane here. So if you've just joined us, full afternoon of racing ahead. We've got a few races before the lunch break. That will be the Coffee to Go Fiesta ST Championship, which we're looking forward to. Max Turley on pole. Then it'll be Precision Graphics Future Classics, and then it will be Say It Supercup Ireland, and then Irish Touring Cars straight after that, and they will bring us to the lunch break. After that, Fiesta Zetecs, Boss Ireland, Irish Legends, and then everybody gets a second race. So it's a busy day today at Mondello Park. It's great to see so many spectators here. There are cars all the way up around the outside of turn 1, and so people not just tuning in on the live stream, coming down here as well. And great to see so many fans here, and of course so many racers. It's the first race meeting, as I said earlier, since 2006 to have over 200 entries at Mondello Park, and great to see numbers coming back up both in the grandstand and on the track. So teleporter has now arrived, and the guys will put a loop through the hoop of that one. They've already done it actually, and probably just lift it up and get it out of the way. Once they get that car off the track, we should be able to get back with Boss qualifying here at the ICCR at Mondello Park. So they're just lifting Gary Graham's car off the track, and once that's done, we'll be back qualifying. But in the meantime, let's take a commercial break.
Well, we've only just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
perfect timing for a commercial break, because just as we finish and come back there from our Beacon ads and our Mondello Park ads, the Boss Ireland cars are returning to the racetrack. There they go. Beautiful cars coming out there. Great to see them, and a great sound effect here as well. And still looking very dry at Mondello Park, so we should be in for some really good lap times now when they get going. But certainly it was Tony Greenan. So Tony Greenan by almost half a second, but they were only really getting going 5 or 6 laps in. It was taking them 2 or 3 to warm the tyres, so they'll do that again now. So here they come back down towards us. The F3 cars we've got to watch out for: Greenan, Carey, Roach, Paul O'Connell. Don't have Barry Rabbit out there. I thought we would, but there must have been a problem with the car. Have Shane Rabbit and Keith Rabbit out there. Keith Rabbit didn't really get down to a time, so we watch out for him as well. Very quick driver, gave us great entertainment in the Siltec Fiestas last year. So a lot of talk about the dark day that motorsport had this week, of course, with the shocking loss of the great Craig Breen, Ireland's top rally driver, hugely successful, a great man as well as being a great driver, and sorely missed. And almost every car in the paddock today is carrying a sticker to remember the late Craig Breen. Hard to believe we're speaking about him in the past tense. Freak testing accidents during the week, and that young man was definitely about to start winning WRC rallies. He was back in Hyundai. He was incredibly happy, in great form, going really well. Delighted to get some extra testing, and he left us with an incredible legacy, despite the fact that he was only a young age, and a guy that gave so much back. Normally people have to get a little bit older before they give something back to the motorsport, but not so with Craig Breen. Certainly as an example of that, just last Tuesday he turned up unannounced at a Junior 1000 rally drivers training day at Tina in Galway, and all the young drivers were incredibly excited to meet him. You can imagine, as a junior rally driver, a WRC driver turning up at one of your training days, took photos with them all, spoke to them all, gave them all encouragement, as he always did. He sponsored a crew in one of those rallies. He was always putting stuff back. A great sense of history for the sport Craig had. He loved historic rallying. He got a BMW E30 M3 and went and won the Killarney Historic. Just blitzed it. He did a navigation trial recently with his co-driver. You know, it's just an incredible legacy that he's left with us. It's really sad, but I don't think Craig Breen will be forgotten. Certainly we'll be remembering him later on here today at Mondello Park, and again during the year we'll have some stuff planned in his memory. But a big shocking day. He should have been at Goodwood racing with Michael Cullen this weekend. They were partnering up again in the Lotus Cortina, but he got the call to do some testing with Hyundai, and was delighted to do that, but was sad to be missing Goodwood. I was at Goodwood with Craig last year and had dinner with him the night before the race, and he really entered into the spirit of it. He went off and got an incredible, almost comical period costume, and he drove so well in the Cortina. If you watch the coverage on YouTube, he hadn't been there before, but he was right on it and gave Andrew Jordan a really good run in a similar car. So gave us great entertainment the whole way. So he will be sorely missed, and everybody in Irish motorsport is absolutely rocked to the core. So everybody at Mondello Park, everybody in the classes here, and everybody in ICCR sends their thoughts to Craig's family, his co-driver, his team, and his close friends. And he had many, and we will speak more about that later on. The time's now beginning to come down, and Cian Carey has taken his place at the top with a 49.581. 49.581, incredibly quick. Wonder no more if the track is in good condition or is wet, because it absolutely isn't. So Cian Carey, 49.5, fastest lap from Green, and 49.8. Paul O'Connell, 51.7. Michael Roach, 51.9. Shane Rabbit, 54.2. Dan Daly, 55.3. Rob King, 55.7 in the Digital Motorsports Radical. Colm Hines, 57.2. Then Eamon Matheson, Kaylee Cole and Gary Graham. Keith Rabbit still out there, as is Daniel Fardy and Alex Wilsden. So I'm not not sure what the record is. I'll look it up, but we need to find out what the outright lap record is because we're not often in the 49s, and Greenan's in the 49s now. 49.887 for Tony Greenan as opposed to 49.581 for Cian Carey. Okay, so 49.275 is Cian Carey's lap record. We're only 3/10 off that. And the track, well, it's obviously dry, but it was wet this morning. So 3/10 off the lap record is Cian Carey. That's not the Boss Ireland, is it? Is it the outright? I think it's the same thing. Let's check. Yeah, that's the outright lap record, the fastest anybody has ever been around the Mondello Park National Circuit. Now, that was at 50.2 by a Formula 1 car for many, many years, and nobody got near it. The Boss Ireland guys broke it last year, and then Cian Carey smashed it with a 49.275, but he's only a few tenths off that now, Cian Carey, so great stuff. So here he comes down to complete another lap. 49.532. It's a little bit quicker. Checkered flag is out though. Checkered flag is out. That's Cian Carey's best effort, 49.532 on the final lap. There's Greenan to go through, but checkered flag. They haven't taken the checkered flag yet. The timing screen will tell us that. So he's got another lap to go if he wants to take it and have another run. Goes through 50.068, so not enough to knock Carey off it. Carey goes through 48. That's a new lap record, guys. Well, it's not going to stand as a lap record because it's qualifying, but that's the fastest lap ever around Mondello Park. The fastest lap ever around Mondello Park, 48.736 by Cian Carey. That's incredible stuff. I wasn't sure I would ever live to see a 49, but I just certainly didn't think I'd see a 48. I was stunned by the 49. It was Sylvie Mullins actually who dipped into the 49s first last year, and I went down looking for him at lunchtime. But Cian Carey has just gone round Mondello Park in 48.736 seconds. That is the fastest lap ever recorded around the national circuit at Mondello Park. If he can emulate that or get near it in a race, he will break not only his own Boss Ireland lap record, but Mondello Park's outright lap record. 48.736 takes pole position for the Boss race. Then it's Tony Greenan will be alongside him. Then Paul O'Connell, Michael Roach, Shane Rabbit, Dan Daly, Daniel Fardy, Rob King, Eamon Matheson, Kaylee Cole, Colm Hines, Gary Graham, Keith Rabbit and Alex Wilston. So Cian Carey, that's incredible stuff. Taking my breath away there at the end of qualifying. 48.736. So it's the coffee to go Fiesta STs next up. The more modern 2-litre Fiestas, quicker than the Zetecs. And we've got a small grid this time, but that's not representative. We've got 19 or 20 drivers registered this year, but we had a couple of cars drop out with gearbox issues, and Michael Cullen is away in Goodwood, so he's not out. Victor Cullen's not out in the 2 Beacon Hospital cars. So that's brought it down just a little bit. Nicole Drought was out testing and had a problem with third gear, so she's not out. There's a problem with the gearbox in that car. The Siltec safety car is going to be rebuilt before the next one. That's Max Turley on pole position, and Max gave Michael Cullen plenty of trouble last year. The 2 of them were elbow to elbow, and really great racing between both of them. Max is relatively new to racing, but he's very, very quick. His father was the same, fast and spectacular in a saloon car around Mondello Park, and he was late getting out to qualifying this morning, but once he got going, he banged in a lap good enough for pole position. So that's Max Turley, car number 28. Now, alongside him will be 555. Young Keane O'Brien came on in leaps and bounds last year in the O'Brien Motorsport and ProTune car, and he starts on the front row for the first time ever. Then it's Dara McMullen and Trevor Farrar. Then Roy White, former national rally champion. When it was really wet this morning in the early laps, he was on pole, loves getting the car out of shape. And alongside him, Declan O'Driscoll. Then it's Wayne Laverick, John Elliff, Chris Jones, Christopher Grimes Sr. I'm not sure if we have Christopher Grimes Sr. out there. We're certainly missing a few. And Kevin O'Hara and Nicole Drought not showing, and Christopher Grimes Jr. 43. I think Jr. is there. I'm not sure if Senior is there. I don't think he is. There may have been talk of that car being damaged in qualifying this morning. So just 10 cars out of a potential 19. So a lot of attrition there, but they should be getting ready to go. They, like the STs, they've changed over to a Nankang tyre. Supply issues with the Yokohama tyre, and the tyres are harder, so they're slightly slower, but the drivers are saying that they have to warm them up a lot more, get some heat into them. So you'll see these cars weaving around quite a lot and trying to get the back moving to get some heat into the back tyres as they come out onto their warm-up lap. Should be ready to go pretty quickly. 2-litre, about 160 brake horsepower from these cars. Pretty much standard spec. You run a specific ECU that they're all the same, a Bluefin ECU. The scrutineers can plug in and download the information and upload them again. Pretty much standard. They run a gas suspension, but you're not allowed to modify it too much. Modification strictly limited. Can't do a whole lot with the engine itself. There's John Elliff in the multicolored car. Chris Jones, Christopher Grimes. Out they go. There they are, beginning to weave around as we said they would. So the tin tops are on track. The 2-litre Fiesta STs. These cars also eligible, in fact, for future classics and indeed for the production class of the Irish touring cars, which they've added this year. So there are 4 classes now in ITCC, which is making a little bit of a comeback this year. A lot of cars being hastily rebuilt. I think we may have lost 1 or 2 in testing, but they'll be on track later on. And we're pretty close in qualifying, so we should get a good race from them. Down into the S's there, plenty of Beacon Hospital signage on the track, of course, as they're helping us to bring the live stream to you this year. We'll be live streaming from every ICCR meeting at Mondello Park. And of course the big news this year is that the ICCR is going on tour for the first time. It's a new initiative. Mondello have worked very hard and invested heavily into it. It's worked very well, as we can see by the numbers up and the bottom line up in terms of all the entries, 205 for the weekend. And so we've decided to bring the ICCR classes to Anglesey in Wales, North Wales. It's only about 15 minutes from Holyhead Ferryport. It's a beautiful track, really technical drivers track, and all these classes, or most of them, will be visiting there this year. That's in the first weekend in August, so the STs, the Zetecs, Boss, all those other classes will be going over there, and that's very much Irish motor racing on tour, and it should be a really, really good weekend. That's a medical car. If you're wondering what the BMW M5 is doing out there, that's a doctor in that car. Just does the first lap behind the pack and then pulls into the pit lane. So we're getting ready to go. Very much 2 of the young chargers now at the front of this one. Turley running with Murray Motorsport, but young O'Brien running that car with his dad in the ProTune car. His dad, Mickey O'Brien, of course. O'Brien Motorsport, very much involved in the junior mini class. Watch the lights, they're red. They're out and away they go. And it's Turley who makes the best start. McMullen goes with him, and O'Brien is sagged back there with Farrar with with a nice start, and he's on the outside. Look at Trevor Ferrara, the self-prepared car, beautifully prepared, and he gets alongside Turley and tries to sit around the outside now, down at Beacon Corner. Goes a little bit wide on the exit, but he should be able to contain that. He is, and hang on to second place, I think, as they go through turn 2. Indeed he does, although here comes McMullen now, and O'Brien back in there too in the black car. Turley still leading, but Ferrara being brave on the outside of turn 3, getting almost alongside. Can he get back in, or will he sit around the outside? McMullen takes a tight line, almost gets by. I think he probably does get by. Let's see if Ferrara can contain that. He can, though. Ferrara comes back at him on the brakes down into the S's. This is great stuff. It's Turley, Ferrara, I think, from McMullen, from O'Brien. It's O'Driscoll, Declan O'Driscoll in there too, in the yellow and black Kieran Murphy run car. This is great stuff. Then Roy White getting a view of his first ever motor race. He's rallied for years. Here they come. Turley has to defend up into the final corner heavily, because Ferrara in the Parts for Cars machine is right in the mix here as they come out of Southside Motor Factor's corner, and they're all having a go. O'Brien now having to defend. He goes to the inside. They all grab the inside. Ferrara with a great run, and he's on the bumper of young Turley now as they go under the M-Town Bridge and down into Beacon Corner. He's surely going to fire it down the inside. Turley almost inviting him to, leaving the door open. O'Brien is late on the brakes and down the outside, but just gets shoved off by McMullen on the exit there. But that's normal saloon car racing as they go through turn 2. O'Brien had to back out of that one. Here they come now, and it's still Turley in the red car, the Murray Motorsport car. Trevor Ferrara runs this car with his dad. He'd be delighted with this, always somewhere near the front, but he's really having a go this time. Then, and look at O'Driscoll on the brakes very late in the yellow car. In fact, a lift coming up to join the battle too, and Grimes. They've got by Roy White now. Great stuff as they come back towards us, and Wayne Laverick at the back there, right in the mix too. He's trying to get by Roy White, who I think may have a problem. Look at Keane O'Brien flicking the car around here, but it's very, very close. It's Turley, Ferrara, McMullen, O'Brien, O'Driscoll, and John Elliff, the former Carter, now really going nicely. He's getting away from that back behind and looking to join this leading group. This time Turley doesn't defend, and he should be slightly quicker on the way out, but he's not, is he? They're staying right with him. Look at this, Ferrara as they grab third gear. Look at Turley looking in his mirrors. He's just concentrating, holding the inside line. Ferrara gets that run at him again on the main straight, but stays behind him crucially this time. Locks up though, a big lock up down the inside into Turley, a heavy impact. That's allowed McMullen through, and McMullen takes the lead, I think. It's driven the leader wide, indeed it has. In fairness to Ferrara, it looked like he couldn't stop that. It was locked up for ages before they made contact, but that's not going to help the cause. And up to second place now is O'Brien. So by default, it's into the lead is Darragh McMullen now. McMullen leads it from O'Brien, from Turley. Let's see if Turley's got any damage on that car in terms of not bodywork, but the wheels pointing different directions. Great scraps in this one right the way back. Where's Ferrara? Are we missing Trevor Ferrara? I think he might be gone missing. Waved yellows at turn 3. I suspect he's down there somewhere. So McMullen it is now from O'Brien. It's a little bit spaced out. Turley in third, then O'Driscoll, then the flying John Elliff, doing really well. Up the inside, and Elliff putting the pressure on O'Driscoll now, and O'Driscoll having to go defensive, very defensive in fact. Doesn't even take a racing line on the way out. That should slow him down just a little bit and scrub off some speed. Indeed it does, and that allows John Elliff to get alongside. Here they come side by side now as they go across the start-finish line. Heading down towards turn 1. O'Driscoll still holding the inside line, but Elliff having a real go here, and Roy White wouldn't get in the mix there in the Murray Motorsport car. That's the Alex Denning championship winning machine he's in. So fastest lap to Darragh McMullen that time round as well, looking good out front. Ferrara just going down the main straight here, but definitely going slowly. Let's see if Turley can replicate the pace he showed this morning for pole. It doesn't look like it at the moment. The first two getting away. Keane O'Brien very much on a run though, and Keane O'Brien has caught McMullen pretty suddenly. He's having a go down the outside into the S's, the Pro Tune car. The young Dundalk man going nicely. So McMullen and O'Brien now are going to start battling here. McMullen I thought was getting away. He had fastest lap last time round, but O'Brien on a real flyer here in the black car. Here they come up towards us. Keane O'Brien had gone really well in Kirkestown in that new mini class as well lately. The R50 mini class at Kirkestown must have buoyed his confidence because he's really on it here, although McMullen beginning to perhaps inch away just a little bit as they come out onto the main straight. Some gesticulation going on, I think, in one of the cars there as they go by. Yeah, 7-3, fastest lap, Keane O'Brien. He's on it here, isn't he, as they go down into Beacon Corner. Oh, 3 wide for second place. O'Driscoll is on ultimate defensive mode. He's not letting anybody by. And they've got by Turley. He's certainly got by Turley, and Elliff trying to go with him. It's a big battle for the final podium place here. O'Driscoll still has it. Then it's Turley, Elliff and Roy White, but the battle's not over for the lead just yet now as they go down towards turn 3. Aaron McMullen very quick through the first bit of turn 3, gets it turned in, gets to the apex, nice tidy driving. Cian O'Brien shadowing him. What a battle for third place. It's like the rest of the grid is battling for third place, but there's still a bit of a battle, I think, for the lead as they come down into the S's. These guys well matched. There's Turley down the inside of John Elliff. Nice move from Turley, Max Turley. He really will want to get back up there. He was hoping for a win when he qualified on pole position this morning, of course. Hasn't gone to plan for him to no fault of his own. Again, O'Driscoll defensive on the way out of the S's, and that'll scrub off speed, and they're with him already again. Elliff with a big lock up, a lot of understeer in that car as well. Still 9 minutes to go. Oh, they're all side by side. Again, look at them sorting themselves out. It's O'Driscoll, Turley, Elliff, White, Laverick, Jones and Grimes Jr. So great battles in Fiesta STs, a lot of new drivers, and we'll have more at the next round. There's a few cars in the paddock that aren't out, as we said. Roy White leading this group from John Elliff, Laverick, Grimes and Jones. Chris Jones improved greatly. Chris Jones, a sponsor of young Alex Denning, who's a former champion in this class, and Alex has been giving him some pointers, of course. He's just been named as an Aston Martin GT4 Academy member, so big news for young Alex Denning, who's making waves. A great ambassador for this class. He was in this class for 2 seasons. Fastest lap still standing to Cian O'Brien at 107.395. They were in the 6s in Friday in official testing. Official timing on the test day, I should say. John Elliff's car definitely displaying signs of understeer there as they go through. Fastest lap for McMullen now is 7.2. 7.6 for Roy White despite the traffic, and he has to go down the inside of his teammate Turley and into the quarter panel, and Turley gets the ST hops. Max Turley be wondering why everyone's giving it to him down at turn 1, but in fairness, Roy White backed out of it there and allows Elliff back into the into that battle for 4. Declan O'Driscoll has got the head down and got away. He did a 7.4 last time round, just 0.2 off the leader, so he's eased away a little bit from this one. That's him in the yellow and black car. Turley not getting to the apex, right around the outside there, and that allows Roy White to get a run at him again. This is great, really good battling of Fiesta STs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in this one. And Turley, I suspect Turley's car got a little bit of a pasting in that first contact, because he should be able to get away from these guys, and he's not really able to at the moment. And here's Roy White down the inside. That's a cracking move for a rally man, and I'm not being disrespectful, but he's not an experienced circuit racer, and that was timed to perfection. Now Turley did manage to sit around the outside and hang on to it, and I know Roy was not keen to make contact because they're teammates, but the initial move was very good from Roy White. Is he going to finish it off? I think he is down into turn 1. He's very late on the brakes again. This is great stuff from Roy White. He's a great addition to this class, a big name in motorsport, and great to see him joining the ST class, and he's mixing it here really nicely, as Max Turley will tell us. There's the fastest laps as they stand, so nothing in it between the first two, probably 3 or 4 tenths back to everybody else. So here they come down into the S's now. O'Driscoll's got away from the madness behind. It's Turley, it's White, it's Elliff, Laverick, Grimes and Jones. Chris Jones right in the mix here. Alex Denning will be happy with his man. He's certainly right on it here. Up they go to as late as they can to turn in there. Big lock up again from John Elliff, number 100. He wants sunglasses on looking at that car with the livery on it. It's got every colour under the rainbow. Great to see the different liveries on the car this year. Still Darren McMullen out front, but less than a second back from him is young Cian O'Brien, keeping him honest as they begin to ease away from everybody else. Two leaders out of turn 3 already. Still watching this battle for 4th place, but they're even beginning to space out just a little bit, so their lap time should get better. McMullen still with fastest lap at 107.298, which is less than a tenth off. That is Cian O'Brien, who's right with him actually. They're the two leaders, just went through shot there. Still very much race on for the lead. Here they are at the bottom of the screen. Cian O'Brien not letting Darren McMullen get away. They both got the head down. They're doing a good job. No mistakes from either of them. I think O'Brien might be slightly closer. It's Laverick holding off Elliff and Grimes and Jones there. inside. Grimes down the inside of Elif. Nice move. Christopher Grimes Jr., well known to us from auto testing. Great family, the Grimes family in Irish motorsport. Peter Grimes and his father, Christopher Grimes Sr. Massive success in auto testing, representing Ireland on the world stage as well as winning Irish events. Roy White again down the inside. In fact, if the two Murray cars would leave each other alone, they'd catch Declan O'Driscoll, but they really want to get by each other, and Roy White having a go. He feels he's quicker, I think, and he wants to get by Turley here. Max Turley just trying to hang on. He's probably thinking of points at this stage. Now, here's where it comes into where they're starting to think in their cars. The top 6 finishers are reversed for race 2. So the 6th place finisher will take pole position for race 2. At the moment, that's Wayne Laverick. Then working backwards, it will be Roy White alongside him, then Turley, O'Driscoll, O'Brien and McMullen. Turley matching the pace of the leaders last time around. They're the 2 leaders going through shot. We haven't forgotten about them. It's just that this battle is intriguing behind them. And Roy White has another big one down the inside. Turley just turns in though in the red car. And Turley wants to have a go at Declan O'Driscoll, try and get a podium finish. Roy White gets a run of them again though on the main straight. So we're just looking at the speed trap on the main straight. The fastest through the speed trap so far has been Cian O'Brien with 131 kilometers per hour. The slowest that time round 127. Chris, they're very, very close. This class. That's good policing, and of course they all run the same ECU and stuff like that. So nobody getting any great benefits on the main straight. Here they come again. It's still O'Driscoll, Turley, Roy White, Laverick, Grimes. John Elif, after a great early showing, dropping back. I suspect his front tyres are gone off. He was getting a lot of understeer. If you could see it on the television, it's got to be really, really bad. Oh, here comes Roy White again, down the inside. And once again, Turley just chops across his bows. I bet Max Turley is thinking, leave me alone for a lap and I'll have a go at O'Driscoll. But Roy White loving these late braking manoeuvres. Roy White's got, who's that behind him? Wayne Laverick, that is behind him as they go by the start-finish line. Roy White once again down the inside. He's almost half committing to these moves. Obviously he's very clean, doesn't want to make contact, but he's almost getting the job done. And then Turley is confident enough to come off the brakes and flick it in around the outside. And Roy White just not quite getting the job finished, but he's definitely showing well for his first ever motor race. He's going to have a go again here at turn 3. When it rained in his first test day, Roy White was incredibly quick. He had a spin in Victor Cullen's car. There were pictures of him on social media, full opposite lock through turn 2, which is not really a comfortable place to be normally. It didn't bother Roy, and he's got a good run out of turn 3, gets alongside Turley now. But can he sit round the outside? I don't think so. You only really need to sit halfway around the outside here, and you've got it for the next one. But doesn't manage it on that occasion. Laverick gets a good run at the 2 of them off that corner though. Right out onto the curbs on the way out. And again, Roy White up the inside. Has he got the job done this time? I think he has this time. Yes, he has. Down the inside. Here they come onto the main straight. And Roy White has done it. He's practiced a few times. And he's down the inside. Laverick trying to come with him. And Turley could be boxed out NASCAR style here on the outside. Turley needs to go really late in the brakes. That's what he does. Down the outside. But Laverick's got the job done as well, I think. He has. And that's put Turley back a couple of places. Now, crucially, that's put Turley back to 6th place, which will give him pole position for race 2, and we've only got 54 seconds to go. Now, I don't know if Turley's doing the calculations, but Chris Grimes is looking for that position and trying to get by him. I think this is going to be, I would be close enough to checkered flag. We might get one more lap, but this is absolutely cracking tin top action from the Coffee to Go Fiesta STs. Bodes well for the rest of the year. We've 3 or 4 more drivers to go onto this, possibly 6 actually, that could come out for the next round. We've 19 drivers registered, remember. But O'Driscoll doing really nicely at the head of this group, hasn't got ruffled at all. Here come the leaders out of the final corner now. I think they're going to get another lap to run. Unsure, yes they are. So get another lap to run. So Turley trying to get that place back. Let's see when they go by who's in which place. Laverick now looking for a go at Roy White out onto the main straight. Roy White fastest through the speed trap, that time 130 kilometres an hour, 3 kilometres faster than Darragh McMullen. and 2 faster than Cian O'Brien. So Roy White, quickest down the main straight, 130 kilometres. So the leaders coming up out of this turn 3 corner. McMullen having widened the gap, I think, a little bit, although Cian O'Brien was faster last time round by 0.2, but the gap was at 0.8 of a second. Here come the leaders now out of the S's and up to Southside Motor Factors for the last time. First Coffee to Go Fiesta ST race. Great drive by McMullen here. Battled his way to the front and hasn't made a mistake despite the pressure from O'Brien behind. So here comes McMullen now, down to take the checkered flag. Headlights ablaze, he takes it, and with it takes the championship lead. Right with him though is Cian O'Brien in the O'Brien Motorsport and Pro Tune car. So great stuff. Declan O'Driscoll is going to hang on to take a podium. Then it's Roy White, Wayne Laverick, and Christopher Grimes Jr. has stolen 6th place from Max Turley, and that's crucial because that means Grimes will start race 2 from pole position and Max Turley will start it back in 7th position. Then it's John Elliff and Chris Jones. So great entertainment. It wasn't strung out at all despite the relatively small numbers. The Coffee to Go Fiesta STs gave us great entertainment and a good drive by Darragh McMullen to take that win. And he's coming back into Parc Fermé now. There we go, there's the top 10, and on the right is their fastest lap. So win and fastest lap goes to Darragh McMullen, 107.298. Cian O'Brien just less than a tenth slower, 107.3, and a tenth again to Declan O'Driscoll. In fact, look at the times, they're all pretty close, aren't they? Everybody there in the 107s, bar Trevor Farrar. Now Trevor Farrar was in the fight for the lead before that damage early on, but absolutely fantastic stuff. And just look at those lap times down the right hand side. The class is well policed, it's very close. We've got some really good drivers out there. So McMullen takes it from Cian O'Brien and Declan O'Driscoll. So more tin tops coming up next, and it's the Precision Graphics Future Classics Championship. This is the class that uses barrier time to keep costs down, stop drivers spending too much on their cars, and some beautiful cars out there. That car on pole position, Paul Flanagan's Renault Clio 172, absolutely beautifully prepared, as we'd expect from him. Then class returnee, we haven't seen him for a while at Mondello Park, Gary Duggan. Then Robert Doherty in the Honda Civic. Then Tomas O'Rourke in another Honda Civic alongside him. Those two should be very capable in this one. Then Stephen Healy, Robbie Parks, Donald Cullity, David Hammond, Ken Byrne and Aidan Byrne. And then moving on, that's Super Future Classics. Then in the Future Classics class, it's Phil Lawless in the 1.7 Puma engined Zetec, and that car is for sale. Don't forget to tell everyone, Leo, it's for sale. Well, I've done that, Phil. In fact, you've done a pretty good ad for it yourself by sticking it on pole position. Then Pat O'Malley, then Luke Marmion, James Marmion, Ryan Costello, Graham Carroll, Con Quinlan, Miles Redmond, Kevin Healy, Gilbert Clancy, Paul Walsh and Aaron Lennon. So weaving around, trying to get a bit of heat into those tyres before they come down to the grid. Good strong grid of future classics. So this should be interesting. Certainly I feel the two cars in the second row of the grid should have the pace here to get ahead. The opening lap, you don't have to worry about a barrier time from a standing start. Certainly Tommaso O'Rourke, former multiple champion here at Mondello Park. Tommaso O'Rourke is fresh from winning his class in the Circuit of Ireland Rally. That's how talented he is. He's a former multiple saloon car champion here at Mondello Park. Started racing in the late 80s in an Opel Corsa. His father, Frank O'Rourke, of course, was one of the men behind Dealer Opel Team Ireland and won over 100 races here at Mondello Park. So he comes from good stock. Doherty's car, very high spec, so he should go well too. Watch out for the Ross Cray man. Away they go. They'll start from the outside the front row of the Punto Park, but Doherty just blasts up to them in the Honda Civic and has a look down the outside. Great grid of cars. And the Civic just drives by them. I did think that had happened, but he locks up. He's wide straight into the gravel, and if he keeps it going, he keeps the momentum, he might get back out on track, and that might give us a little bit of entertainment because potentially the quickest car on the grid now is way back. And that'll be hard to recover from. There's O'Rourke just blasting up alongside. I think that's Robbie Parks in the vertical, beautifully presented MR2, which gets out of shape on the outside on cold tyres. Parks deciding to get on the brakes eventually, but Tommaso O'Rourke wasn't going to let that one away. He's down the inside, he's up to third place, but away down the road is Gary Duggan in that Punto Abarth. White flag being waved in the background. Everything fine, no yellows. There's David Hammond in the little giant killing Uno. 30 years this year since that class was introduced as a one-make manufacturer back to class in Ireland, and David Hammond was one of the men behind it. He used to actually get start money from Fiat Ireland, £100 or punts or whatever it was back in the day, pre-Euro, for every competitor that started. So is that Phil Lawless? It is Phil Lawless. Well, there's a good ad for the car for sale. That very distinctive Puma-powered Fiesta mixing with some of the bigger cars. There he goes, 17 going through. Philip Lawless, he's leading the Future Classics class. So the Super Future Classic is 107 and Future is 109. We can see that on the timing screen. They're the two times they cannot beat, or they get massive penalties. 10-second penalty, not just once, but each time that you break that barrier. Now Gary Duggan, he can't do quicker than 109. He's done a 12-1 from a standing start, so he might have to keep an eye on the clock. There's that little Uno we're talking about, David Hammond's car. Robbie Parks ahead of him in the mid-engine MR2. Then Doherty. Donald Cullity in the beautifully turned out Repsol Civic Coupe, and Luke Marmion, Ryan Costello, Graham Carroll, Pat O'Malley, James Marmion, Con Quinlan, Kevin Healy, Gilbert Clancy, Miles Redmond and Paul Walsh. It's closed up a bit for the lead now. Duggan has fallen back into the clutches of Flanagan in the Clio, and Tommaso O'Rourke in the rally spec, and look at Tomas getting in, looking for a tow off the 172 Clio. He was telling me the car is a little bit high and a little bit heavy, but he can't really lower it down because it'll just be too quick for the barrier time, so he said it's about right. He can have a real go in it. Gets a little bit of understeer, doesn't he? Car probably, as we said, a little bit too high and soft perhaps, but he's staying in touch with the leaders. Here's Doherty. Robert Doherty, 106.469, way under it, so he's smashed the barrier, going to get himself a 10-second penalty. Robert Doherty, 106.469, that's the black Civic. 107 is the barrier time, so he's well under that. In fact, Robbie Parks, 106.9, Tommaso O'Rourke, 106.7. Flanagan as well, 106.9. They're all broken the barrier time on their first flying lap. Well, that's there's going to be a lot of penalties in this one. You see the red dots coming up on the timing screen all around us, so you'll have to bear with us a little bit. But the race on track is good. Here they come towards us again. Gary Duggan still leading, defending there, going to the inside to hold back Flanagan. O'Rourke high and wide, looking for a late apex to try and get a run at these cars on the main straight. O'Rourke the only one going out to the curb on the outside there, trying to get the best run he can before he latches onto the back of the Clio 172. Duggan is the only one who's managed not to get one. Robert Doherty breaks it again with a 6 dead. He's certainly catching, he's down the inside, is he? No, not quite, of Robbie Parks. So now a full second quicker than the barrier time is Robert Doherty. A few of the midfield cars going through there as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cars at least have gone under the barrier time so far. Robert Doherty's time drops him to 12th in the standings, but on the road I think he's 1, 2, 3, 4th. He's trying to get 4th place from Robbie Parks now as he comes back towards us. They're coming down into the main arena. There they are. There's Doherty trying to get down the inside. Robbie Parks closes the door. The little MR2. Robbie massively experienced. It also works, still trying to get by these cars in front. Flanagan moves to the inside, and once again O'Rourke high and wide to try and get a good racing line through here. Duggan has not broken the barrier time just yet, but the cars behind him have. Doherty's got by now. Here's O'Rourke, he gets a good run and gets alongside the Clio. But you know, they're all in the 7s now, nobody in the 6s, so they're safe enough. They've had their penalties, but the screen is just flicking and flicking, changing here as they do that. Luke Marmion now has broken the barrier time in the Future Classics class, as indeed Robert Doherty is showing a couple of penalties. Hard to keep up here. Robert Doherty again dropping back, even though on track he's catching on these guys. There he is, 4th place, the Black Civic. So Gary Duggan out front, keeping the nose clean. David Hammond actually now in 2nd place in the Little Uno, and Donald Cullity in the Civic Coupe in 3rd because of these penalties. Tomas O'Rourke, even with his penalty, is 4th. Flanagan is 5th with his penalty. Robbie Parks 5th. Here comes Doherty in the Civic. Down the inside there. There's Hammond. These guys are actually running. They need to wait till they go over the line again. Takes a minute to trigger that timing system, so apologies for that, but Gary Duggan certainly leading. O'Rourke in 2nd place now, even with the penalty. No, Cullity is coming up in 2nd place. Then O'Rourke, then Flanagan, Robbie Parks, David Hammond, Robert Doherty and Luke Marmion. Duggan still in the 7s. Flanagan, O'Rourke. Doherty with some unconventional lines coming up out of turn 3 there. It's nowhere near the exit curve as they come up the hill back towards us. Beautifully turned out Repsol Honda, just sitting on the back bumper of David Hammond's giant killing Uno, little 1300cc Uno. Somebody's gone around up at the final corner in front of the leaders. Somebody at the apex just to the left of shot here. There's a car spun. There it is on the inside. One of the 284, that is. That's Paul Walsh in the ex-Byrne Celica. He's done well to get it out of the way. So Hammond now up to 2nd place in the Uno, and Cullity up to 3rd. Paul Flanagan 4th, O'Rourke 5th. So it's nothing like what we're seeing on screen. I think well, I'm not sure, but these guys know best, but I think they may need to revisit the barrier times in this class, because there's a lot of cars breaking the barrier times. Doherty, I think, is up to 3rd place on track. Is Tomas O'Rourke gone missing? No, he's just dropped back a bit. And once again, Doherty, that very tight line on the exit of turn 3. There's Hammond, who's now showing in 2nd, and Cullity, who's right with him, is showing in 3rd. Doherty now on the back bumper of Gary Duggan. Flanagan having taken the lead. Duggan defending, but I think Doherty should have enough pace to just drive by him here on the main straight. Vertical.ie car, Robbie Parks there, the MR2. Yeah, the Civic just driving by the Punto Bart down under the bridge. Duggan goes back at him on the brakes though. Takes the place back. Oh, Duggan very close. 107.011, very close to getting himself a 10-second penalty, which would lose him the lead. In fact, David Hammond, who hasn't broken the lap, the penalty. Penalties have applied to numbers 33, 12, 111, 777 and 27. So a lot of penalties, a lot of barrier times being broken here in the Future Classics class. 6 minutes, 28 seconds still to go in this one. Here's the two guys that are second and third, Hammond and Cullity. Paul Flanagan is in fourth, Tomas O'Rourke fifth, Robbie Park sixth, and it's Graham Carroll who's leading the Future class. Where's Phil Lawless gone? Don't see him on the timing screen. In fact, he may have retired. Big lock up for Rob Doherty, and lucky not to collect the Punto Bart there of Gary Duggan. That's allowed Tomas O'Rourke back down the inside. Still in second, lapping on a 67.2. Oh, Gary Duggan has just got the penalty. He's broken the barrier. Gary Duggan has broken the barrier time, and that has given him a penalty, and that means David Hammond now leads in the Uno. Tomas O'Rourke putting a lap on a slower one of the Zetecs Fiestas there. So the order now is Hammond, Duggan, Flanagan, O'Rourke, Parks, Cullity, Marmion and Robert Doherty. Hammond leading effectively by 2.4 seconds to Gary Duggan, and Hammond is doing low 7, so it's going to be hard to close that gap without breaking the barrier time, and Hammond locking the inside front to Little Uno, cocking a rear wheel there. But Cullity has had a penalty behind him in the Repsol car, so he's not effectively in second, even though the Uno is leading. I know this is very confusing and I apologise, but there is great saloon car racing going on out there at the same time. The Uno down the inside of the little Zetec Fiesta, and the Civic going with him. Now it's Hammond Flanagan, but Flanagan is within 8/10 of, but he's just done another 106, so he's going to get another penalty. So yeah, definitely I think these will have to be realigned. A lot of cars breaking the barrier. Remember, Mondello Park has been resurfaced from about there where the cars are now all the way around to the S's middle of last year, and all the cars were going a lot quicker and there were a lot of lap records broken, so that's probably the track is just quicker than it was, and maybe the barrier times might need a slight tweak to reflect that. Another penalty for Robert Doherty, who does fastest lap of the race there, 105.639. That's a second and a half under the barrier time. Paul Flanagan it is leading on track. So the Hondas down the main straight together. He's leading by 1.394 seconds now from Gary Duggan. And Robbie Parks, Donald Cullity, Paul Flanagan, Tomas O'Rourke and Robert Doherty. I'm not sure how many penalties Robert Doherty has, but he's still showing in 8th place there. Here he is, the penalty by Tomas O'Rourke. O'Rourke, of course, knows his way around Mondello very well. Started off in a 1.3 Corsa Sport in production saloons here in the late 80s, and won his class in the championship, and then took over his dad's 16-valve cadet and went on to win the overall Dunlop Saloon Car Championship in Mondello Park. He's gone on to a successful rallying career afterwards. As we said just a couple of weeks ago, he won his class in the Circuit of Ireland. Bob Doherty trying to get alongside him in the background. O'Rourke giving him a big squeeze. Two cars equally matched, in fact, in the straight line. Paul Flanagan was leading, but he's just done in the barrier time again, I think. He has. So that's Paul Flanagan there, but it's the little Uno that's leading. So 2 minutes to go in this one. Problem for Doherty there, he's pulling off. The exit of turn 3. Well, there you go. There's Doherty's car. Looks like it's overheated just a little bit, but yeah, I'm not sure. He'd been going very well, fastest man on track, but I don't think he's going to say. Looks like he's trying to maybe restart it, but I don't know. It's something's a little bit hot under the bonnet there. So it's David Hammond still showing us leading by 8.6 seconds from Robbie Parks now in the MR2. Gary Duggan. So it's nothing. It's not even, it's very different to what we're seeing on track. So it's Hammond, Parks, Duggan, Hullity, O'Rourke, Flanagan, Graham Carroll leading the futures. So 25 seconds to go. Bonnet open on one of the cars ahead there as Flanagan closed them down, then Duggan next up. Goes through 7.9 seconds to the good in the little Uno. So Flanagan is showing in, he's had 2 10-second penalties. He's showing down in 6th place, but he leads on the road. Then Gary Duggan is next up. Duggan has only had 1 penalty, I think. That's the little yellow and white Punto Abarth, just passing a back marker there down into the S's. Well, not really a back marker. He's one of the it's Healy, I think that's one of the future, as opposed to the super future cars. Checkered flag is being prepared below me. I'm assuming the starter will know who the winner is here, because it's not going to be the first car out of the final corner. Here comes Paul Flanagan first on the road. He is going to get the checkered flag by the look of it. Indeed he does. So Flanagan goes through, Duggan goes through, but we're waiting for this battle. Watch this, it's Robbie Parks, David Hammond and Donald Cullity. Parks just using the brake horsepower to fend off the little Uno. We'll just wait till the timing screen settles. I think it's going to be David Hammond. Indeed it is. David Hammond takes the win in the little 1300cc Fiat Uno. Just fastest lap, just 2/10 off the barrier time. Gary Duggan, 2nd place. Robbie Parks in 3rd place with 1 penalty. Donald Cullity with a penalty is 4th. Tomas O'Rourke with 2 penalties is 5th. Paul Flanagan with 2 penalties, or 3 possibly, 3 penalties is 6th. And then futures is Marmy and Carroll. I think we'll just wait till they go through. There may be penalties there. Marmy and Carroll, Clancy and Pat O'Malley going through. So great racing, the cars look brilliant and great racing on track, but just a little bit confusing, and I think they may have to tweak those barrier times just a little bit. I'm sure the officials will be thinking the same. It's just it's a little bit hard to follow there, so apologies for that one. Live timing very good as ever though, giving us all the information we need. And that's David Hammond taking the win. He'll be delighted with that one. He works really hard on that little Uno, always trying to develop it and squeeze a little bit more out of it. So he takes the outright win in the little Uno from Gary Duggan and Robbie Parks. Okay, so the car's coming back in for some technical checks, and the Seat Supercups are in assembly, but while we're waiting for the Seat Supercups to come out on track, let's take a short commercial break.
Well, we've only just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
Great drive by Paul Parr to be up until last year with a big rush towards them. A lot of cars came available. There's a little bit in those, but they are out.
To attack.
Yeah, Barry, if we could see understeer on a television.
The second kind of group there in the middle. Figure out who
Place he has ahead of Tom Cochran now and away after Aaron Cochran. Aaron Cochran down to a 59.5, which is
anywhere close to the apex in the second part of what we call the country most. He's coming down into the first part of the country. McGovern there just a half car length behind, but watch the leading car now here. He just look how much McGovern gets on the back of him, and he's nearly nowhere to go, and just lose a little bit of time there apart. Not as much as previous laps, and he gets a reasonable exit.
so, and he's the only one in the 58s here. The Coffee to Go man who sponsors the Fiesta STs brought him right to the front of the grid. Oh, contact there. That's Shane Murphy into the back of Barry English, who slowed suddenly.
Something happened, I'd imagine. Barry English, he lost the gear or something because he shouldn't corner. So some form of mechanical issue made him lose momentum down the straight, and literally no knowledge of that. Wouldn't be expecting that whatsoever, and just straight into the back.
That's McDonald up to third place now and trying to close down McGovern. Blocking them when they were with him, but now he knows well.
Yeah, and good consistent times. I think if we look at the last lap by, there was, but he's definitely very consistent in the mid 59s to low 59s.
Top of the screen, Sam Mansfield on a charge. He's matched the leaders, almost just a tenth off the fastest lap. Here he's on the outside, just coming up there now, car number 17.
Yeah,
and he's catching. Yeah.
Lane just off shot.
Murphy.
It's Murphy from that contact, so that's a turn. Get an idea of what's going wrong, but it's not looking good, Leo.
No. Because he's been dominant in this class. Now they have got the switchable ECUs, so
that structure, of course, they're all racing together, but like Leo says, it's like a success palette of sorts.
Would have been nice to have those brake horsepower figures there when you race Unos, Barry.
Yeah, they would have been that high.
McGovern on the attack. He got a great run and begins to move around. This is the first time Parr looks rattled. He's had to change to allow McDonald right into it, Barry.
Yeah, that's a risky move there for McGovern. He's lost. He hasn't lost position, but look at how much time he's lost. He was right on the back bumper of Parr as it came down the straight just 2 corners ago, and by attempting that move now, he's lost 4 or 5 car lengths. He's got one of them back straight away, and another one as he comes into the second part of turn 3. And meanwhile, Dave McGuire, is it?
Yeah.
It's Brian Berry with a 58.8, fastest lap of the race. So Brian Berry in 4th on track, some half a second quicker than even the fastest of the 3 ahead of him. So watch out for him. And Mansfield having a little bit of battle in the background. This time, Leo, now with McGovern seen. McGovern didn't get away, or maybe 3 guys starting to have a little bit of a dice and let him away
in terms of pace. But
Leo, I just seen something spot up on the screen here. Some form of time penalty, 5 or 10 seconds normal. So really, this
would have had a run at turn 2 there, Barry, wouldn't
yeah,
you? When you've got your half up alongside, you just close the eyes and keep it. And success. Brian Berry going beautiful. He will absolutely love this. Brian Berry. He's really mixing it with the.
Yeah, 58.8 for Berry. So they're pretty close. 10-second penalty that's applied at the end. Of course, he won't know it. Harry McGovern.
There's a great shot of Sam's car just being lifted up, the rescue crew there.
Paul Parr, we've seen, got a penalty for that jump start. We've seen it off the line. He just moved, stopped, and then went again, which does constitute a false start. So Parr will get some form of time penalty to be decided by the and that will drop him down the order. Laps, or the result will probably go back a lap, so it'll be exactly what we see in our much the same. Gary Corcoran is showing as 8th. He'll inherit 6th place there because both Aaron and Sam weren't running under their own steam at time of red flag, so Gary Corcoran will move up to P6. And I wonder what lap did we lose Barry English on? He might be the big winner here, because Barry English's car, we've seen to the pits, so it'll be an interesting one for the officials to figure out. Does he get classified, or does the rule where you must be running on your own steam apply? That'll be interesting. But Barry English, a championship contender, Shane Murphy, a championship contender, and Sam Mansfield, of course, a championship contender. All of them not finished this race. It's going to be, and Paul Parr, our race winner, is going to take a penalty too, so really mixes up the championship. Moving into the second round of the championship, of course, later on today. But the big three of our big hitters are in bother 4, in fact, if you count Paul Parr.
Okay, so no real excitement on the grid there as we regrid them, but they won't be restarting is the message we're getting from race control. So the cars will be brought back into the pits, and we'll be going out shortly with the Irish Touring Car, the Precision Tint and Graphics Irish Touring Car Championship. So we're going to take a quick commercial break while these cars return to the paddock here at the ICCR meeting at Mondello Park.
Well, we've only just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
left, onto left. Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep on. Rev it up. George, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it left. Come on. Keep on. Come on. Keep going.
The Precision Tint and Graphics ITCC, the Irish Touring Car Championship class, almost disappeared in recent times, but is coming back. There's a bit of work being put into it. Drivers have brought out new cars, a lot of late entries, cars just about ready, I think. But he's come out with this left-hand drive Golf. He's had a lot of work to do it. I think I know he's doing corner weights and alignment and stuff during the week, and it's obviously worked out quite well. Drying conditions 109.064. Cian Walsh alongside him in that one of the best sounding cars in the paddock, that Civic. Then it's Stuart Curran, Stephen Traub. Watch out for Traub. He's incredibly quick, and that car has lots of power. He's the reigning champion. And then Rob Savage in the new Integra, Paddy Howley and Michael Clune. And then in the new Honda Cup, Cathal Ward. Now, interesting enough, Barry, if you look at that, Owen Drought did that time on slicks, so he struggled doing it. But Cathal Ward was quicker. Now, that's because they used treaded tyres. But he was well quicker, and he was up with the Seats at one stage. So really good driving by Cathal Ward there. And he's got David Flynn alongside, then Stephen Martin and Colin Morris. So great to have that. Honda Cup means maybe you don't have to spend quite as much. You don't have to buy slicks and wets. You can run on the treaded tyres. Pretty much any Honda is eligible. So it's great to see, and they're going pretty well. But he's taken,
so they've put Cathal on the inside of the row 6, so they're separating the grid. So that's going to be interesting because, as per qualifying, as you said, Leo, he's actually the fastest car by a couple of seconds because obviously he had those treaded tyres. That won't be an advantage in the dry. In fact, it'll be a disadvantage. But obviously a bit of pace in that car.
Yeah, it's beautiful. 14. That's the Honda. You see it there, it is down on the right of your screen. You just see it coming out as the Castrol livery car. It's absolutely beautiful. He's one of Ulick Burke's boys. There's a lot of real enthusiasts. Yeah. And I think they do their work at night, Barry. You see it on social media. They never stop.
Yeah, night owls for sure. Yeah, they get stuck in. Talking to Ulick this morning. He's out in a global GT Light this weekend. In fact, is Ulick trying something different?
Yeah, he gave us great entertainment here yesterday. So here we are, Irish touring cars with a bit of a renaissance. And Paddy Howley's beautiful BMW E36 there, the orange car, just lining up. Really nice car. Watch out for Traub on the outside of.
He's already made a gap for himself. Alonso got in trouble for that a couple of weeks ago, and Traub is Alonso was about a couple of inches off his grid position. Traub's a couple of feet to his left. All he wants to see is a clear sight right down to the first corner.
All the brake lights on, Barry. Sorry, apart from Traub, he must be holding it on a handbrake or something. The rest of them all have brake lights on. Owen Drought only has 2 pedals, the SG box, as he said. He just planted it, let the car do it. Yeah, pretty go and stop, yeah.
5-second board, Leo.
This will be interesting.
Watch the red lights on top of the screen and go.
Good start. Drought leads away with a cracking start.
Here comes Traub
down the outside, Barry, with all that power.
Look at Traub.
He's up alongside the Golf. He's clearly quicker than the Golf in a straight line, but Drought goes back at him on the brakes, and Owen Drought holds the lead down into turn 1 now. Just about. That Honda's got some power, Barry.
Yeah, once he got going, that's clear. I think that car is well in the 300s, maybe even more. Maybe he's slow out at turn 2 though, is Traub. But look at it go. Once it gets going, picks the skirts, and away it's gone down into the first part of turn 3.
Well, this will be interesting, Barry, because the Golf has more grip and bigger tyres, and it's got 375 brake horsepower in the Golf, so it's no slouch, and Owen well able to drive it. But Traub's car was pretty much untouchable here last year in touring cars. Let's see if Owen Drought can do anything about that. I suspect the main straight is going to be an issue for him because that's a 2.4 Honda, isn't it? Well set up and well driven in second place.
Yeah, and he's quick there into the S's, as we've seen, just panning from left to right through the shot, and look how much closer he is coming out of the second part of S's there, up to south side corner, and Drought going a little bit defensive. Traub goes high and wide and gets a good run out over the rumble strip there. You can see him in a shot.
Slow, Barry. That Golf is really quick as they go. It's just gone out of our shot now, down into turn 1.
Well matched on a straight, yes, definitely. That Golf is definitely not slow.
No, it's. I think Owen's only getting used to it, really, but great stuff. And there's good battles all the way down the grid. It's hard to follow them all. And in fact, the lead has changed in the Honda Cup. Cathal Ward has gone wide, and Colin Morris now has taken that lead. But Drought under pressure here now from down into turn 3. The Golf still leads, but doesn't quite get into the
doesn't.
apex and all. It doesn't look that comfortable, that car, but it's got enough power to hold off the Honda. They're side by side, coming back towards us. This is a cracking race at the front of ITCC. Drought versus Traub now, the 2022 champion, really having to work, Barry. He normally got to the front pretty quickly last year and disappeared, but this Golf has been fettled. The little birdie told me that POB Racing might have been fiddling with it during the week, and it's obviously done it some good, and he defends now just at the right time with Traub. Barry goes high and wide.
Yeah, he's going to try, but he doesn't have the power. He's used to being able to just power by cars. He can't do that with the Golf. He's going to have to get the thinking hat on and try and figure something else out, because he doesn't have anything extra over the Golf in the straights. What he does have in a Integra DC2 is what's widely regarded as one of the best handling front wheel drive cars ever produced. And he's going to have to make use of that. You can just see it's a smaller, lower down car than the Golf. It's just going to corner better than it. It's got its centre of gravity much lower, double wishbone suspension. It's going to be, just look there. Look how much faster it is through the first part of the country. But there's a Golf in the way, so it doesn't make him any good to him. He gets back in underneath him, but it's going to be a drag race again. And Traub is staying in there this time, but he's the wrong side of them as they make their way down into that long left-hander, which forms the first part of the S's.
An intriguing battle, Barry, isn't it? I mean, Owen Drought not getting ruffled at all, and as you said, there's certain places where he's quicker, certain places where he isn't. A little bit over defensive there. He scrubbed off some speed, and the Drought trying to get up the outside, but Drought doesn't look like he's going to make too many. A little bit at turn 3, but he's putting the car exactly where that Honda needs to be. And look at this, when it comes to a drag race, we've never seen a car match that Honda before. Today we have. The Owen Drought Car Sales Golf, every bit as quick as the Honda, Barry, and good and late on the brakes to hold the lead. It's a long race though. Little bit of a lock up there. The pressure showing, but on both of them.
Yes, for sure. I can't help a feeling that Owen can go actually a lot quicker. He's probably just being a little bit too much in his mirrors. And if he was able to just put the head down, close the mirrors in, as they said, he might be able to pull away, but he's just been a little bit defensive. We see it in particular coming out of the second part of the S's, where he's just not using all of the track. And relying on the power of the engine to keep him ahead, but it's working. Much
nicer that time at turn 3, got right into the apex, got on the power, and as a result the Honda's not beside him coming up the hill. He can take one breath for the first time in 2 laps as he gets it turned in now, and the car handling well. Second
bit now as he make use of the track on the way out. Just seems to be a little bit better, but see all that track to the right as we look at it, that's pace, that's speed that he could be carrying through that corner, and as a result he's coming under big attack there for Traub, but he's putting the car exactly where he needs to, Leo. As you said, it's not pretty in some way, but he's definitely keeping ahead, which is the whole point of a car race.
Especially on the exit corners, Barry, he's exactly where he needs to be. Now for Owen Drought fans, you're not going to like the next bit of this. There's 10 minutes 42 seconds still to go in this race, so it's going to be a long afternoon for Drought.
That's 10 minutes too long for Owen and 10 minutes too short for Stephen Traub in second place. That feels like the longest race ever when you're leading and the shortest ever when you're chasing.
Yeah, it's going to take a mistake, Barry, because I think he's placing the car nicely, and he's got plenty of power. Gets it up onto 3 wheels there. Again, a little bit wide at the apex, but that's okay. He can run around the outside, and that Honda just won't get alongside him. I wonder, is Stephen wondering, is there something wrong with my Honda? I should be able to drive past this chap. Yeah. Look at that Golf when we saw it out last year, Barry, was a little bit unwieldy. You can tell it's been set up and there's been a bit of work done on it. It just looks a little bit happier, doesn't it?
Now that's Traub using his head there. He's seen it the lap before. Oh, big shunt as Traub into the wall. Didn't see exactly what happened there. I presume he caught the front of the Golf. That's a big shunt, and I expect that to bring out the red flags. It's a big impact. Very rare to see a car hit the wall there, Leo.
Very unusual for 2 cars to contact there. Whatever happened coming up towards the braking zone, I'm sure we'll see a replay of it, but certainly that was very unusual. It's a shame, because that was Traub using his head. He was following for ages there. Red flags are out. The race has been stopped. Traub was using his head, as you said, Barry. He was sitting back and seeing where he was quicker. There were only 1 or 2 places, and he timed that to perfection, but he's hit the bank fairly heavily there.
That's
and I don't
big
think
damage
we'll
to
see
that
him
car.
back out.
It's very sad to see, but yeah, he did exactly the right thing. He seen that Owen was a little bit slow coming out of the second part of the S's and defending the position, and he took the option to take the right hand side through, which is exactly the right thing to do. And then in the dip of the circuit between the exit of the S's and up the south side corner, just went out of shot, but we've seen Traub's car just turning across the front of the Golf and making big heavy contact with the wall and bouncing his way back to come to a stop. Now we did see him moving in the car. I'm sure he's all right. It was a big shunt though, he'll have felt it.
Cars not being directed round to the start-finish line with red flag with 9 minutes still to go, so that'll probably have to be a rerun, I'd imagine.
I think I seen a little bit of damage on the front of the Golf too, Leo, as I came by here. It was the trail of smoke coming out of its front right wheel. So it might be just a bit of body work up against the tyre or something like that.
So just cars coming back into Park Ferme, and the rescue crew up there and the teleporter being sent up. That car will need a lift. Obviously, as we saw, the suspension damage on the front right, a heavy contact with the bank. That's a shame. It's robbed us of a great battle up the front. Fastest lap standing to Owen Drought at a minute .565 in the Golf. A minute .669 for Stephen Traub. Great battle between the two of them until it all went wrong. Leading the Honda Cup, Cathal Morris had got one over on Cathal Ward. So Colin Morris looks like it. I'm not sure if they call it a result. I doubt they will, because there were still 9 minutes to go in the race. So we were only really 5 minutes into it. So it probably will be a rerun at some stage. Okay, we're going to have a look at a replay. The lads are telling me it's a little bit out of shot where it happened. They're in the dip when the cars made contact. But let's see what we have. We've always got great coverage here with the See It Live guys. So let's just have a look back and see if we do have any footage of that shunt for the lead. We look at the replay now. Well, not the replay of him being taken out. Here we go. So they were alongside. Drought moves to cover. Then they move apart. It's going to happen, Barry, when they're out of our view, isn't it? If you're going to do it now, you know that's the place to do it at Mondello Park. Here they come.
Yeah.
Oh, severe contact.
That's fourth gear, Leo, up there. That's big speed.
It's hard to know what happened. It looked like the Honda came across the front of the Golf, but an avoidance and avoidance and avoidance. It's really hard to tell there.
We're looking for damage in the back left corner of the Honda, because that's where it would have hit the Golf to initiate it.
Well, that obviously is what happened, but it's hard. We don't know whether the Golf moved right or the Honda moved left to get a racing line. It's hard to know. But either way, I don't think it was intentional by anybody. It's just unfortunate because it robbed us. I thought it was going to be a cracking race.
Yeah.
It was going to be a long, long race for Owen Drought, though, wasn't it, really, Barry?
We literally just said it, hadn't we? It was 10 minutes to go, which is a long 10 minutes. 10 laps, effectively, lapping at 60-second pace. But yeah, it was going to be a long race for...
That's what you don't want to see on the clock when you go by. When we started, people start yawning when I say this, but when we started kart racing years ago, we used to race at a circuit called Kilcornan down in just outside Limerick. Brilliant little circuit, but the lap was so quick that when I first led one of the races, the sign came up telling me there was 30 laps to go.
Oh dear!
It's just not. It's not what you want to see, is it?
No. And you do what feels like 20 laps, and then it says 28 laps to go. It just seems to go on and on.
Okay, guys, so still removing that car and bringing it back down, and that was the last race before lunch, so we're going to stop the transmission now. We're going to take a bit of an early lunch break. We'll come back, I would imagine, and I'm speculating here, that we'll come back with a rerun of that Irish touring car race, but we will be going back to the full programme of races, and nothing will be affected there this afternoon. So we'll be back on air this afternoon with thanks to the Beacon Hospital for the live stream. Thanks to Barry Rabbit for helping me out there. We're going off to the Moto Cafe to get a little bit of lunch now, and we'll be back on air shortly with the rest of the afternoon.
Well, we've only just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
left, onto the out. Yeah, that's good. Good driving. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. George, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. Come on, come on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.